everyone. Welcome to yoga. So hopefully you have your block and strap nearby. We will use both of those today, and we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to start standing today. Hopefully warm up our bodies some. Uh-oh. I better tilt the camera a little bit. There we go. Now you can see my head. All right, so let's start in a good mountain pose, standing really tall. Think about spreading your toes, really grounding your feet into your mat. Think about sinking down into your mat with 4 corners of your feet. 2 in the forefoot, 2 points back in the heels. Zip the abdominals up and in. Feel like you grow taller as you do that, lengthening the spine. Let's roll our shoulders up and then back, and let's reach down through the fingertips, pulling those shoulders away from the ears. Softly closing the eyes, let's find our nice slow breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And even trying to slow that breath down. Inhale, filling the lungs. Exhale, emptying the lungs. Let's add our arms in with this breathing. Let's inhale as we sweep the arms up, bringing palms together. Let's exhale, bringing hands down to heart center. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, bringing hands down. Little change here. Inhale, sweeping up. This time on the exhale, let's swan dive. Arms come out to the side, hinging forward at the hips, and then softening the knees to bring the hands to the bottom. Inhaling on the way up, sweeping up. Exhale, swan diving. Flat back the entire way down. Keep going with those swan dives. Let's do one more. We're going to meet at the bottom. You may want your block in here to bring the floor up a little closer. You can rest your hands on that block if you want. We're going to walk the feet, lifting one heel and then the other. And then let's place both heels down. We're going to release all the way down into forward fold, resting the torso on top of the quads, releasing the head and neck, relaxing the arms and shoulders. On that next inhale, coming up to half lift, lengthening and straightening that spine. Exhale, releasing, rounding back down to forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, straight flat back. Exhale, releasing down. Those hands can stay on the front of the legs for a little support, or you can float those arms out long by your sides, your choice. Let's do one more half lift, and let's release back down into our forward fold. On your next big inhale, let's sweep it up to the top, and we're going to exhale and sit back and find our chair pose. Feel that weight move into your heels. We want to keep an inch or two in between the knees. We don't want the knees to knock knee. We don't want the knees to come together. We want to keep a little space there. Option to have those arms extended out, or you can always bring hands to heart center to help relieve the low back if that causes any tension there. We're going to flow our chair. So we're going to inhale, sweeping up. We're going to exhale, sitting back. Let's meet back down in our chair pose, this time bringing hands to heart center. You can stay here with weight in the heels, or you can try a balancing chair by lifting onto the balls of the feet and toes, lifting those heels as high from the mat as you can. And let's come all the way up. You can shake those legs out a little bit. Maybe a sip of water. We're going to move into some sun salutations. So starting back in our good mountain pose, again, finding that good posture. Let's inhale, sweeping up. Let's exhale as we swan dive, hinging at the hips, flat back. Soft knees at the bottom. Let's inhale into half lift. Let's exhale, releasing to forward fold. Hands come down. You can step back or hop back. We're going to find our way to plank. We're going to hold this first plank. Fire up the core, warm up the body from the inside out. Pulling that belly button up toward the spine. Tucking the tailbone under. Neck in line with the rest of the spine. Good breathing. Option to put those knees down if you want. We're going to exhale, chaturanga, lowering down with control, elbows in close. We're going to inhale. You can either do cobra or you can push all the way into up dog. And then we're going to tuck those toes under and exhale, to downward facing dog. First time here, let's go ahead and walk those feet, pressing through one heel and then the other. We're gonna warm up, release the calves and the Achilles here. And now holding those feet still, bringing that gaze up between the hands. You're going to find your way to the top of your mat. So maybe walking up, stepping up, or hopping up to the top of your mat. We're going to inhale as we sweep up. We're going to exhale into our chair pose. Inhaling up. Let's exhale as we swan dive back down. Let's inhale, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Hands down, finding your way to plank. Chaturanga, option to put those knees down if you need it. Elbows staying close. Inhaling, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling back to down dog. Tipping that tailbone up nice and high. Feel like you're pressing forward with your hands. You're trying to press your mat toward the front of the room. We're going to warm up the shoulders now. So we're going to find our way slowly into plank. And then we're going to tip that tailbone up as we press those hands toward the front. Back and forth. Let's do one more and we'll meet back in our downward facing dog. Bringing gaze up in between the hands, finding your way at the top of your mat. Let's inhale as we sweep it up. Let's exhale into our chair. Inhaling up. Let's swan dive back down. Inhale, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Hands come down. Find your way into plank. Exhaling, chaturanga. Knees can go down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling to down dog. Adding a little different movement here. We're going to come forward, almost like we're getting ready to transition into plank as we put those knees closer to the floor. And then we're going to press back and up with the tailbone. So it's down and forward a little bit, almost like you're crouching on all fours. And then back and up. Let's meet back in downward facing dog. Bringing gaze up in between the hands, finding your way to the top of your mat. Let's inhale as we sweep it up. Let's exhale into our chair. Inhaling up. Let's swan dive as we take it back down. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Hands down, finding your way to plank. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhaling, cobra or up dog. Exhaling back to down dog. Choices here. Feel free to drop into child's pose for a rest. Stay here in down dog with both feet down, or maybe trying a three-legged dog by extending and raising the right leg. Breathing. Keeping shoulders squared here. Option if you want to bend this right knee and let the foot fall over to the left, helping to open this right hip a little bit more. Try to keep equal weight in both hands. Let's transition back to straight leg. And let's step or sweep this foot up to the top of our mat, finding our way up to the top. Inhaling as we come up. Exhaling into chair. Inhaling up. One more time through. Swan diving. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Finding your way to plank. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhaling, cobra or up dog. Exhaling back to down dog. Same choices again. You can drop into child's pose. You can stay right here in down dog. Or that three-legged dog, this time extending and raising the left leg. Keeping the shoulders squared. Option to bend that left knee and let the foot fall over to the right. Straightening that leg out again. And stepping or sweeping the foot up, finding your way to the top of the mat. Inhaling as we come up. Exhaling into chair. Inhaling up. Let's exhale, bringing hands to heart center. Inhaling and exhaling. Grab a sip of water if you want. We're going to stay standing while we're warm. We're going to do a little balance posture. We're going to do eagle today, and then we're going to move into some other postures that are going to be good for strengthening the glutes. The glutes are really important. They often get neglected, but strong glutes can really help protect your low back. So it's very important to make sure that we're paying attention to those glutes. Okay, so we're going to do eagle pose before we move down to our mat. So let's bring all of our weight onto our left foot. Spread the left toes apart. Find most of your weight there in that foot. We're going to mess with the arms, and then we'll come back to those legs in just a moment. So you can do it slow. You can bring one arm in front of the body. Let's see, we're on our left foot. I'm all backwards here because I'm trying to mirror image you. So you want your left arm to be out in front of your body, and your right hand is going to sweep under and then around and through to see if you can get those palms touching. So you can do that slow like I just did, or you can sweep those arms up and kind of sweep into it quickly. Kind of your choice. See which feels the best to you, gives you the best position with those arms. You should feel a stretch kind of on the back side of your shoulders. We're going to try to pull the elbows down toward the belly button. All right, we still have all that weight on the left foot. We're going to bend that left knee. We're going to pick the right leg up and over, and maybe you leave the foot out here, or maybe you wrap that foot around behind the calf. Sitting back, almost like you're getting ready to sit down in a chair, we want to pull the shoulders back. So we want the upper body to be nice and upright. We don't want to be leaning forward in this posture. Breathing, trying to find one focal point to keep that gaze on. Inner thighs pressing together. Abs zipped in, that's going to help with your balance. And let's go ahead and release. Let's roll those shoulders back a couple of times. Open that chest. Okay, so we're going to do the other side. So now we're going to bring all of our weight and balance to the right foot. So spread those right toes apart. That right arm is going to come in front, and you can do it slow by wrapping the left arm under and around, or you can do it quickly, bringing those arms together like that. Elbows pull down, and then we're going to bend our right knee. Left leg comes up over the top. You can leave that foot out to the side, or you can wrap that foot around behind the calf. We're trying to pull knees to the midline, elbows to the midline, so it's like elbows, belly button, and knees all in one line. Drawing the shoulders back so you're not slouched or hunched forward. Find that focal point to keep your gaze on to help with your balance. Find your good yoga breath. All right, let's release. Roll the shoulders back a couple of times. Open up that chest. Okay, so we were kind of sitting back in that chair, and then we worked on our eagle, so we should have warm hips and glutes now, ready for some of our glute strengthening exercises we're going to do. So let's come down first onto all fours. So a lot of times we practice our spinal balance, which is actually a really good place to start for glutes by extending and raising that right leg back behind you, flexing that foot. You have to activate the glute to do that because you want to be in a good position here to squeeze the glute to lift that leg. So we don't want to be here. Now I'm dipping my arms and I've got this big dip in my low back. I want to pull the abs up and in so I have a flat back, and I have to activate that glute to keep that leg lifted up there. So while we're right here, let's lift that left arm out in front. So we've got right leg behind us, left arm out in front, great for our balance, great for our core, good for our glute. Let's take a little rest. So let's do that on the other side. Left heel straight back. Flex that foot. Draw the belly button up and in. Reach out with that right hand. So remember, we're not dipping, we're not arching that low back. We want to activate the glute to keep that leg straight. All right, let's take a rest. So now we're going to add some movement to help strengthen the glute. I'm trying to give myself a little more room here on the side because we're going to be moving our leg out to the side. So we're in our all fours, hands right underneath the shoulders, knees are right underneath the hips. You've got about a fist size in between those knees. That's your good alignment to get set up. So we're going to take right leg back, we're going to take left arm out, and now we're going to move a straight leg. We're going to swing this leg to the side as we swing the arm opposite. And then we come back to nice and long. So we're opening up and then bringing back. Now, that glute's got to really work to keep this foot lifted. Your core has got to really work. So really keep those abs pulled up and in. You're trying as hard as you can to keep this foot up level with hip level. That can be really challenging. So if you need to, you can do this. You can swing that foot a little bit lower toward the floor. That's still going to work the glute. Let's do one more. And hand down, knee down. Let's stretch it out. Stretch it back. Find a child's pose. Flip those palms up if the wrists are bothering you at all. Let's come back to all fours so we can do the other side. Find your good alignment. And we'll take that left foot back, right arm out. Flex that foot. We'll swing that leg out to the side as we bring that other arm out. And then back. Remember, you're trying to keep that foot hip level if possible. Taking your time, moving slowly, keeping those abdominals pulled up and in. You should really feel this working the outside of that glute. Let's do one more. Hand down, knee down. Let's stretch it back again. All right, let's come on back up. Come on up on top of the knees, and then we're going to come up to standing. This is going to be some work. Just going to give you a heads up. So if at any time you need to take a little break, that's totally fine. This is a good leg strengthener and a good glute strengthener, and it's going to take balance because we're going to be moving back and forth between two poses. So we're going to start with a chair with a twist, and then we're going to move back into a lunge, keeping that twist. So let's go ahead and sweep those arms up. Let's exhale, bringing hands to heart center. We're going to sit back in our chair. Let's twist to the side, hooking that elbow on the outside of the knee. Now when we're here, we want to pull this top shoulder back to get our good twist. We're going to try to hold that twist now as our foot opposite those hands steps back to find a lunge. We're going to hold here so we get used to this lunge. It takes balance. If this is really difficult here for you, you could always bring your block in, set your block down here, and you could reach the other hand up to the sky. Okay, so now we're going to step forward, back into our chair with a twist. Pull that top shoulder back. What do you feel working? Could it be this glute? Absolutely. That glute should already be maybe on fire. We're going to step back to that lunge. Let the hips drop. And stepping up, chair with a twist, pull that top shoulder back. Stepping back for lunge. We're going to do one more, forward and back. Stepping up, stepping back. Let's untwist, and let's go ahead and step up, and let's come up, shake those legs out a little bit. I need a drink of water. How about you guys? We're going to do the other side. Okay, we got to get that other glute, we got to even it out. So let's sweep those arms up. Let's exhale, palms together as we sit in our chair. We're going to twist to the other side, hooking that elbow on the outside of the knee. This top shoulder, pull it back. Breathing. Now the foot, opposite where the hands are, steps back for our lunge. We're going to hold this first lunge. Remember, you can always do hand down, hand up if you'd rather here. All right, stay low, stepping forward, chair with a twist. The key is to stay low. If you're going to come up and go back down, you're going to lose all that tension that's on the glute. We want to try to stay low the whole time. Stepping back, finding that lunge. Let the hips drop. Staying low, stepping up. Pull that top shoulder back. And stepping back. Again, forward and back. Stay low. One more time. Forward and back. Let's untwist and let's step it up. Woo. Shake out those legs. So that's a lot of work. So especially those two glute things like that in a row, kind of back to back like that. Hopefully you really felt that. We're going to do one more, but this is more of a stretch and an opening, not as much work. So we're going to find a forward fold. We're going to hinge forward. We want to try to find a nice flat back. So maybe you want your block here. You can always bring the block here. You can always bring it up on its high side, whatever you need as we work through this move. So you can have softness in the knees. You're going to grab, you can either kind of grab onto the toes. You can do a peace sign, big toe hold that wraps around the big toe. I'll let you decide what feels best to you. And we're going to find our good hold, and we're going to try to lift this leg out to the side and then set it back down. So everybody's different. Maybe it's just a small lift and back down. Maybe you can get it up halfway and back down. Everybody's different. So try it a few times, and then once you have the hang of it, you're going to try to hold it out there for a little bit in the stretch. And resting down. Stay in this easy forward fold. Maybe shake those legs out a little bit. Maybe move that block to the other side if you were using that. Switching sides, so grabbing on, remember it can be a little small lift and down, or it can be a little bigger lift up to the side and down. So try that a couple times, find a good comfortable spot for you, and then when you're ready, you're going to see if you can hold it. And set it down. And let's slowly come up. Nice flat back. All right. Good job, everyone. Maybe another sip of water. So now we're going to go the long way on our mat, seated. We're going to come into a straddle, really opening those legs up. And so this is where you're going to need your strap. And you might want your block also. So have your block close by here in the middle. So kind of good to open up those legs after working those glutes. Helps release those. So let's turn toward one leg. So kind of find a twist here. And then you're going to take your strap and hook it around that foot. We're going to try to keep a nice flat back as we start to walk those hands down the strap. So keep in mind that I don't want you to look like this. This is wrong. We want to stay tall through the spine. And once you get to a spot, if you feel like you can go further, but your hands can't walk any further, then think about bending at the elbows to pull yourself further into this stretch. So using some arm strength to pull down, but keep the flat back. We want to be here with the flat back, not like this. No, that's not doing anything. Keep the flat back, keep the chin lifted. Look out over the tops of the toes. We're trying to lengthen that hamstring, the back of the leg, release the glute. And let's go ahead and come on up. Let's take our twist over to the other side. And then we're going to hook that strap onto this side. So same thing, keep this really long flat back. Remember, I don't want you to look like this. No roundness. We want to stay flat in the back and then walk those hands down that strap to begin to feel that lengthening, that stretch in the back of the leg and that hamstring, releasing the glute. Once those hands are walked out as far as you can, then maybe you use your arm strength, bending at the elbows to pull yourself further into this stretch, looking out over the tops of the toes. And let's come back up. Let's come back in the center to nice and tall. Okay, so now, same thing, we're going to try to keep this really flat back as we start to hinge forward. So this is where you may want your block. You may want to bring this block on its tall end. You could put your elbows here. So not only now you should feel some sensation in the back of the legs, but now when we come in the middle, we feel extra stretch in the inner thighs as well. So elbows can be on that block. Maybe you can change the level of your block to be lower. So here's where I don't want you. We don't want to look like this. Okay, we want to try to lengthen that spine and flatten out that back. Think about keeping your chin lifted. That's going to help keep that nice flat back. And maybe you can hinge forward a little bit more. Maybe those elbows come down to the floor or down to the block. One more option would be to reach for the feet, so you have something else to grab onto to pull you down. Again, you don't want to look like this. If I drop my head and drop my chin, I'm all rounded. I really want to lift the chin and pull through to help flatten out that back. Find that place that's comfortable where you can feel like you're resting here. So if you need to come up out of it a little bit, that's totally fine. Breathing. Let's come back to nice and tall in the center. We're going to scoot those legs back together. And we're going to do some seated spinal twist. So first, let's do our staff pose, our stick man for our posture. So remember the little trick. Grab that seat and pull it back, kind of the meat, pull the meat back so you can feel yourself sitting on those sit bones. Zip the legs together, feet side by side. Let's roll those shoulders back and down. You're really super tall. Lift through the crown of the head. Hands in your lap or hands next to you on the floor. All right, from here we're going to keep this really good tall posture. We're going to cross one foot over that knee. So you can kind of grab onto the front of this knee to help you stay tall. And that opposite arm of this leg folded in front can either wrap around the front of this leg and the other hand goes behind, or another option is to take this elbow to the outside of that knee to create the twist. So you can try them both. See what feels best to you. A lot of times I prefer the wrapping the arm around the front because I feel like it helps me stay a little taller in the twist. And when that spine is tall, it can twist much better, much more efficiently. If it's comfortable for you, turning that head, maybe seeing yourself in the mirror behind you. Good breathing. Take one more big inhale. Let's exhale as we release back to center. Back to nice and tall. Let's switch out those legs. Other leg goes long. Cross that other foot over. So its opposite arm is that leg that's crossed over. Either wraps around the front or the elbow can come on the outside of the knee. Other hand is behind. Staying super tall. Really straight spine. Pulling that shoulder back, and if it's comfortable, looking over that shoulder. Breathing through the twist. Let's take one more big inhale. And let's exhale as we release back to center. All right. Let's go back to both legs straight in front of us. Find that good posture. And now we're going to bend both knees. So we're going to slide one foot in and then the other foot back here. So it's almost like this one foot is behind us, kind of level with this hip or glute. The other foot in front. And then we're going to take this arm here, the same side as this leg that's in front. We're going to place it on the mat back behind us. And we're going to sweep this other arm up. And as we sweep this arm up, maybe lifting those hips up off the mat. Let's slowly sweep this arm back to front, lowering those hips if you lifted them, and then we're going to switch around and do the other side. So let's turn those legs over. Other foot comes kind of back behind here, back by the glute. Other leg in front. The hand of that same side as that leg that's in front comes down on the floor behind you. This other arm sweeps up. You can just sweep the arm up, or you can lift those hips to come up higher. Arm sweeps back down as we lower those hips back down. And now we're going to bring both feet in front into our butterfly pose. So you can start with a little maybe side to side rock. We're still releasing those glutes and inner thighs. And then you can play with these feet a little bit. Seeing if you can get those knees to drop down by opening the feet apart, almost like those feet open like the pages of a book. Maybe you draw those heels in closer. An option to put those hands back behind to see if you can get those knees to open up further. Still trying to keep those feet falling open like the pages of a book. And then also you can lift one hand and gently press one knee closer to the floor. Be kind and gentle with yourself if you do this one. Let's switch sides. All right, let's pick those knees back up. Let's slide those feet back forward. You're going to grab your strap. Let's hook it on our right foot, and we're going to kind of fall back onto our backs as that leg raises up. So your choice here, you can bend the left knee if you want, or if you want more sensation, it feels better, you can straighten that left leg. So let's start here, walking those hands up the strap. Let's start by pulling down, trying to pull that knee toward the shoulder and then pushing back up with that heel. Let's leave the next one at the top. And choices here. You could walk the hands up further. You could pull this in further. You could walk the hands up even higher and pull the head and shoulders up off the mat, or you can do my favorite one where you hook the strap behind your head for a little resting hamstring stretch. Let's release that strap from behind the head, and then we're going to hold up higher on the strap with just the right hand. We're going to take this leg over to the right. Only opening up as far as it's comfortable for you. Releasing that inner thigh. Softness in that knee as you pull it back to center. Now hold on to the strap up nice and high, and we're going to only take it across the body about 1 inch or 2. So it's crossing over, but you should feel some sensation here on the outside of the glute. We really work that spot, so this is a good stretch for that. We're trying to keep both hips level down on the ground, kind of stretching this outer glute and IT band. Let's bring it back to center, and we're going to switch feet. So left foot in the strap, right foot can be down on the mat, or that right leg can be nice and long. Starting with your basic hamstring stretch. Now let's pull down on our strap, pulling that knee toward the shoulder, and then pressing that heel back up. Let's hold the next one at the top, and you can either lift head and shoulders, maybe walking those hands up further, or you can hook that strap behind your head. Alright, let's release that strap from behind the head. We're going to take just the left hand up high on that strap and slowly lower that leg over to the left, only as far as it's comfortable for you, opening up that inner thigh. Let's put softness in that knee as we bring it back to the center. And now the other hand grabs on, and this is the one where we're going to keep that leg straight. We're only going to take it across the body 1 inch or 2. We leave the left hip down on the mat. We're trying to stretch the outside of this glute and the IT band by just taking it slightly across. And let's bring it back to center, and we're going to release that strap. So time for our Shavasana, our relaxation. So if you would like to add a layer or socks, back on, now is the time to do that. Once you get situated, finding your corpse pose, your Shavasana. A well-deserved rest. We did a lot of work in class today, so try to let that body release, relax. Feel as if you're melting into your mat. Let the edges soften. Feel gravity connecting you to the earth. Simply relax and let go. Let's wiggle the fingers and toes. And then let's slide one foot in and then the other, so we can then hug those knees into the chest. Let's add a little side to side rock here. Then we're going to release one arm above our head so we can roll onto that side. Then using the other hand to help us press up, coming up slowly and carefully, we're going to find our way to seated. Let's come to a comfortable cross-legged position, sitting up nice and tall. And let's either clasp hands behind us or reach for the opposite elbow. We're going to hinge forward, folding into Yoga Mudra, sealing in the benefits of our practice today. A slow release. We're going to inhale and sweep those arms up. Palms come together, a long, slow exhale. Bringing hands to heart center. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all next week. Namaste.